What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City video. Today we are going to be looking at 5 players Manchester City could sign in the January 2021 transfer window. But before we crack on with this video is sponsored and brought to you by OneFootball. This video is brought to you by OneFootball. If you want to download the OneFootball app, all you need to do is press the link at the top of my description, which will take you forward to where you can download this app. The OneFootball app is extremely useful if you are a huge football fan just like me. It provides you with the latest footballing news, transfer news, and the latest videos as well. It is one source of information of where I get my transfer news from. It also allows you to see the latest scores with what's happening in the footballing world. If you just click on a game, including any Manchester City game, it will not only bring up the latest team news, but it will also bring up the latest statistics and keep you up to date with everything happening in that game. If you want to download this app, all you need to do is press the link at the top of the description to stay up to date. Thank you very much to OneFootball for sponsoring this video. It's very important, if you want to help to support the future content created on this channel, that you do download this app if you so wish, and you do that through the link in my description. You can find that right at the top of my description to go and download the OneFootball app. Don't forget also, if you are enjoying the content and you want to help to support my channel, then subscribe, press that red button, press the bell and put your push notifications on. It is free. I am aiming for 15,000 subscribers, so any help towards that would be much appreciated. Don't forget also, social media links, they're in the description below and sliding across at the bottom of the screen if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. My email also in the description below too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Leave a thumbs up if you do enjoy this video, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below of which players you would like to see Man City sign in January. So without further ado, we are going to crack on with this video, and we're going to start off with the first player in no particular order that City could well target is Nicolas Tagliafico. Now, Manchester City were linked in the last summer transfer window with the left back from Ajax. Will Manchester City make a move again? It is quite probable. Now, Manchester City made a move, or were showing interest very late on in that transfer window, so it may just be a case of City picking up where they left off. But I feel like any move for any left back, not just Tagliafico, would depend on what happens with the future of Alexander Zinchenko, who's already at Manchester City. Will Alexander Zinchenko leave? If he does not, then there will not be a left back signing for Manchester City in the winter window. Now, if Zinchenko does leave, whether that be a permanent move or a loan move, then City could well make a move for a left back. João Cancelo, he's looked pretty solid when playing at left back. Benjamin Mendy, though, he has looked very injury prone for Manchester City, so might it force City's hand? It remains to be seen. Like I said, though, it would be more a choice of Zinchenko leaving rather than Benjamin Mendy at this moment in time. That could change by the summer. We'll have to wait and see. Demand for Zinchenko, there wasn't too much in the summer. Might there be a little bit more going into January for the right price? Possibly. With Tagliafico, though, he's 28 years old. Manchester City apparently could sign him for around £20 million, so it makes it an affordable transfer. It does depend on a left-back leaving, one of Mendy or Zinchenko. I would say the latter being the more probable of that. All I'm worried about is if Cancelo picks up an injury at left-back. We've got Mendy and Zinchenko, and if it's any kind of serious injury to Cancelo, then that does concern me. Now, obviously, Nathan Ake can also cover there, which does help Manchester City out. So I wouldn't class a left-back as being a high priority for Manchester City. Maybe, though, City might make a move. It would depend on players leaving. And if City do make a move for a left-back, I reckon Tagliafico could well be one of them players. Now, another player that Manchester City could well have a look at, who they showed interest in the summer and maybe want to renew their interest in the winter, is Houssem Aouar of Lyon. Now, it's an unrealistic transfer, this one, mainly due to price and the high attention that comes with Houssem Aouar. Now, he's a very good central midfielder, can play deeper, can play in defensive midfield, can also play in a more attacking role as well. I do feel like he would suit Manchester City. However, midfield, it's like left-back. It isn't the biggest of priorities for Manchester City. However, Manchester City don't have too many options out wide. Even though we've brought in Ferran Torres to help with Leroy Sané leaving, with Man City seemingly moving Bernardo Silva more centrally, or so they have so far this season, City are faced with three wingers, which is Riyad Mahrez, Raheem Sterling and Ferran Torres out wide. Gabriel Jesus can play out there if he needs to. But Bernardo Silva is another player that could well compete with Riyad Mahrez for that right wing position. And Bernardo Silva, over the last few weeks, we have started just to see him move more out wide. Now, I look at the central midfield, and whilst the options we've got there are very good, so I'm talking Rodri, Ilkay Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne and Phil Foden, these are very good options for Manchester City. I do have a concern about injuries. Now, I do not think City will make a move for a central midfielder in the winter. However, that's injury pending. Any injury to any of them named players that I just said, and that could well force City's hand in the winter window. Then, would City look for someone who's cheaper, or would they look for top quality like Aura? That remains to be seen. He's a good age though, 22 years old, French midfielder. Arsenal are interested too, probably will renew their interest in the winter window. Will Man City make a move? Apparently available for between 50 to 60 million euros. He is exactly of the quality that City would be looking for. Some will argue the case that it hampers the progression of Phil Foden. In my opinion, Houssam Aouar would help to basically say that Man City aren't so dependent on keeping Phil Foden and Kevin De Bruyne fully fit. I'm more than happy with playing Rodri in defensive midfield for City, and with the injuries that's been happening to Fernandinho, City could utilise Ilkay Gundogan in that defensive midfield role. The options are good for City. It's all about what will happen, and that player that I just mentioned there, Fernandinho, is crucial for Manchester City signing a defensive midfielder or a central midfielder. Whether that comes in the winter window remains to be seen. And that actually really nicely moves us on to our next target that we have been getting linked with for the winter window. It comes in the form of Denis Zakaria, the 23-year-old, who's soon to be 24 next week, central midfielder who plays for Borussia Mönchengladbach in Germany. He is being seen as Fernandinho's long-term replacement. Fernandinho, he has less than 1 year remaining on his contract at Manchester City. That is up next summer, and I do not think that he will sign a new contract extension at Manchester City. I think Fernandinho for next season will not be a Manchester City player. He isn't getting any younger, and he is starting to pick up injuries, so I think Manchester City will say their farewells to Fernandinho, and that will be emotional because he's been a superb servant for Manchester City, but City might think long term and want to sign a young defensive midfielder to take up the reins to help cover with Rodri. Now, will that be Denis Zakaria? No price is currently being mentioned. However, City have been getting linked with another defensive midfielder in the form of Douglas Luiz at Aston Villa. City have a buyback clause in the summer to bring Luiz back to Manchester City. That price is around £30 million, and so I think that £30 million is telling me that City are willing to spend around that price to bring in a defensive midfield reinforcement once Fernandinho decides to leave. Now, I'm on the side of, if we're seeing long-term, we see Denis Zakaria as that long-term replacement for Fernandinho, why wait? Why wait until the summer when Fernandinho's left before bringing a player in? Why not bring in this player in January if it can be done, and let him learn from Fernandinho, let him kind of naturally just take over that role, give him a bit of experience, give him a few games, give him a couple of months just to settle in, so he's not being heavily relied upon for the summer. Same thing happened with Aymeric Laporte. We didn't need to sign Laporte in that winter window. We could have waited until the summer, but we brought him in, we eased him in at Manchester City, we let him settled in, and then the next season picked up and had a fantastic season. And I feel like that really did help Laporte, and so I feel like it could be a similar situation with Zakaria. It could be Douglas Luiz, but I reckon that could be in the summer, but it is something that City do need to be thinking about as we head into the summer transfer window. Once we pass the winter window, City could have a look in January, they might not. Now, moving on to another player, crazy but not impossible, comes in the form of Lionel Messi. Now, obviously, a pre-contract agreement is a lot more likely for City in January than actually bringing Lionel Messi in, but just hear me out. With what's been happening at Barcelona, Bartomeu has resigned as the president for Barcelona. The whole board have resigned. Barcelona need a new president and they need a new board. I would have thought they'd be looking to do that relatively quickly. No date has been set for when there is going to be a presidential election at Barcelona. However, it is thought to be in and around the new year into January, because they're wanting to, well, get their future sorted ASAP. And high up on that agenda would be Lionel Messi for the new president. Now, I'd have thought Messi would have a say on who the president is going to be, and I would say that it is a lot more likely that Lionel Messi now will stay at Barcelona. However, the presidents that will go in for that job at Barcelona will be saying to Lionel Messi that he'll be given the right, if he wants to leave Barcelona, they will sort out him to leave. So if Messi in January says to Barcelona that he wants to leave Barcelona, then the new president, if they are in place by then, could sort that out for that to happen. PSG are being linked, Manchester City are being linked. City are thought to be favourites and the preferred destination for Lionel Messi. However, I feel like a lot hinges on the future of Pep Guardiola and what's going to happen there, and on the future of his good friend Sergio Aguero, whose contract is also up in the summer. Their futures need sorting. Apparently, a 12-month rolling extension for Pep is what's going to be offered to him, which is what's floating Pep's fancy at this moment in time, which adds to the uncertainty. Like I said, I'd be looking for long-term solutions rather than just short-term solutions, because it just leads to uncertainty, and we're just postponing us being in the same situation again next year. I would have thought, though, if Lionel Messi does join Manchester City, I would have thought it probably would be a 12-month deal with an option of an extra year, which would then suit if Pep does sign a 12-month deal and Aguero signing a 12-month deal, which I wouldn't say is completely impossible. Another saga for us to look forward to. I will, of course, be keeping you up to date with that every step of the way in January with daily Manchester City transfer updates and lots more Lionel Messi updates. So if you like the Lionel Messi story, then that's fantastic. If not, sorry. Anyway, moving on to our last target that City could sign in January, comes in the form of a striker, Patson Dca. Now, he's a 22-year-old Zambian forward who plays as a striker, can also operate out wide too, who plays for Red Bull Salzburg. In great form, in scintillating form for Salzburg. He's a very good goal scorer. Apparently lots of interest. Over 20 European clubs currently interested in Patson Dca. It's believed that Manchester City are just one of them clubs. The problem we've got with signing a striker is you need a striker that's happy to play behind Sergio Aguero and Gabriel Jesus, who's prepared to be patient for Sergio Aguero's contract when he decides to leave, to eventually leave, that they can take over the reins and occupy either the first position as a striker for Manchester City or operate as a rotated option, which is what currently Gabriel Jesus is. Now, Patson Dca is a young striker, 22 years old. The opportunity doesn't arise every single day for you to go and join Manchester City, so that could be something that Manchester City could pursue. Like I said, though, with interest being so high, I would have thought he'd want a first 11 place at a team, and if any team can offer that, then he probably would opt for them. So I would have thought if City want Patson Dca, they would need to operate fast. No price is being mentioned. This is sounds very familiar. It's very similar to the Minamino deal that took him to Liverpool last January. Liverpool signed Minamino just as pure cover for any of their squad should any injuries happen, and Patson Dca could be the same. However, I feel like Dca would probably want to learn from Minamino, who hasn't lit anything up at Liverpool at this moment in time, and he'll want to be well, basically playing every single game. Will that happen at Manchester City? The answer to that is probably not. If he's prepared to be patient, though, this is a very doable transfer. I heard other people mentioning other strikers. People have been saying that City are looking for, so to speak, the Olivier Giroud. What Chelsea have got that option, that taller striker who offers something completely different, who's really happy just to sit on the bench, not play many games, and just come in the cup competitions and play when there are injuries. City looking for that type of player. Is Patson Dca that player? Maybe, maybe not. Other fans have been speaking about Denis Zakaria. I will speak about that more in my transfer update, which will be out early next week. However, that is purely fan fiction at this moment in time. There isn't anything reliable or solid about Denis Zakaria returning to Manchester City. One thing's for certain, though, it is believed that City will be looking at a temporary striker in January. Will Patson Dca be that temporary one? Maybe, maybe not. There's other players out there, loan players, Luka Jovic and that. Again, I said I'll speak for that in my transfer update. So there we go, that's been the video. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you leave a thumbs up so I know that you did enjoy this video. Also, don't forget, subscribe if you're new new round here, press that red button, press the bell and put your push notifications on. Aiming for 15,000 subscribers now, so any help towards that would be much appreciated by me. Don't forget also social media links in the description below and sliding across at the bottom of the screen if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. Email also in the description below too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships or any videos or any general business enquiries. Go and check out the OneFootball app. Make sure you do download that through the link at the top of my description if you so wish. And also, most importantly, let me know your thoughts of these transfers in the comments below. Who do you want Manchester City to sign in January? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope everyone is safe and well. I've been JSGC. Peace. Ciao for now.